This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, live in a money pit. Money pit. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT. The Money Pit is presented by Dyche Coatings. Now here's Leslie Segretti.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit. I'm Leslie Segretti, and with me is my dear friend Jim Kenzie, the best producer in our business.
Wow.
I do love you, Jimmy.
You know, you still have to get me a Christmas present after that.
I know, and I'm just feeling the feels this holiday season, and I want you to know you're appreciated.
I feel you for feeling me, Leslie. Thank you. Love you.
All right, guys, you know, there's just a few more weeks to Christmas, so make sure you're doing all the things around your house, telling the people you love that you love them, and doing all the right things and being nice and good, because that's truly what this time of year is about. And there's so much to get done, so let's get right to it. Now, if you plan to do some window shopping for windows, imagine that, like actually window shopping for windows instead of just looking at stuff in a window.
There's an idea.
I mean, it is confusing. Have you bought windows lately, Jim?
No, I haven't.
It's super confusing. There's so much out there, but there's a label that kind of is on every new window out there. It's a law. It's got to be there. And if you know how to read it, it will help you find the best window. It really just simplifies everything.
Cool.
So we're going to explain that insider secret just ahead. And are you thinking about giving your kitchen countertops a fresh, sleek look? I mean, we have been spending a ton of time in the kitchen lately, and you're probably like noticing things that need some help. So we're going to share an easy DIY solution that will deliver a smooth granite finish in just one weekend. You got 2 left till Christmas, so here's an idea. And it's time to roll out the holly. So let's get those holiday decorations up so you can start enjoying them now. We've got tips on safe and sound decorating coming up. But first, our focus is you. We want to make DIY doable with clear tips and advice to get your home projects done. So if there's a DIY project on your to-do list, help us make it a DI done project. Give us a call now at 888-MONEY-PIT. Jim, who's first?
All right, Leslie, let's head out and chat with Sally, who's dealing with an issue with her windows. We're seeing a lot of fogging, you're telling us? What's going on here?
Well, I have 2 very large double pane windows, or like big picture windows, and they have fogged up. It looks like there's moisture between the 2 panes. And so I was wondering what can be done about that besides replacing it. Is there any remedy for that?
Yeah, Sally, if you're seeing this sort of foggy moisture between the panes of glass, sadly, that means it's a failed thermopane seal. And Tom had a word that I loved very much. Was it a swiggle? Squiggle?
Swiggle.
Swiggle?
Swiggle.
It's a failed swiggle, which I don't know why we don't just call it that to begin with. It's a failed swiggle, but it's a thermopane seal. So basically, the sealant between the 2 panes of glass with this insulative gas that's in there that actually causes that window to keep the warm air in and the cold air outside, or vice versa, has failed. And that gas has gone away, and now you're dealing with this sort of temperature difference between the 2 panes, and you're going to see fogging, and then eventually it's going to impact the energy efficiency of that window. So eventually, but currently it's not like, whoa, that window just does not insulate anymore. It's just not going to do it as well as it did. So if you don't mind the fog and it's not leaking and the way it looks doesn't bother you terribly, you can kind of just live with it, but you cannot restore it or repair it.
Yeah, I have about 7 other windows that are about the same age. They're over 15 years old, and they're all fine. But so just these 2 had a particular problem when they were made. Is that what you'd assume.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, are these the biggest windows, or are they kind of all the same size?
Of course.
Yes, of course they're the biggest window.
As fate would have it.
Ah, that's too bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll get them replaced then. That's about all I can do.
All right. Well, good luck. I mean, down the road, new windows. It's always good for efficiency. Maybe get a tax break. Maybe get some money back.
Okay, Leslie, let's head to somebody's home state of Michigan and handle a flooring question for Tim.
I wonder whose home state that is.
Who could that be?
Does it rhyme with Tim?
Yeah, yes, I do. Hey, Tim, fill us in here, Tim.
So we had the floor laid a couple of years ago. It's your standard floating, like vinyl linoleum floor, one piece. When it was laid, the floor to me was not laid correctly. They didn't stretch it out as it should. And now we're dealing with wrinkles in the floor. We're dealing with in front of like our dishwasher, in our door area, it's kind of wrinkling up. We're just wondering what some of the simple ways would be to fix it, aside from just taking all of the appliances out of the kitchen, and also what would be an alternative without breaking the bank.
All right. Well, it could be very difficult for you to fix what's happening to that floor, Tim, and I'm not quite sure why it's happening. I mean, you're mentioning that maybe it wasn't stretched, but you don't really stretch linoleum when you put it down. And if it's floating, there's no adhesion, and that can actually help you here, because if there's no glue, it's going to be really easy for you to take it up. Now, typically when you put down a sheet product like vinyl, the care and the prep there is making sure that the subfloor is very smooth and totally flat. And very often installers will put a second layer of a type of plywood that we call Luan. It's sort of a very smooth, finished plywood on top of what's already there, and they'll attach it with a ring nail. And this is a nail that has rings in it and grooves, and it attaches very, very well to the floor that's below it. But that's pretty much it. Now, if that Luan has sort of detached or loosened up, maybe then that sheet product is kind of stretching and moving on its own, and probably in the areas of wear and tears where, like, you walk up to the dishwasher, you know, high traffic spots in the kitchen. So these are the kind of things that you should be looking at, because all of those areas where you're going constantly, you're going to see a lot of that wear and tear. But I would personally try to give up on trying to fix what you've got. I mean, you know, if you're going to try to fix it, you have to take out the appliances, you have to glue it down. But there's so many good flooring products out there that are affordable that you don't actually need a sheet product. You can go to any home center, any local flooring supplier, and you can look at something called an engineered vinyl plank, an EVP, or an LVP, which is a luxury vinyl plank. And these are a manufactured product that are sold in plank form. They look like every type of wood and every width of, you know, pieces of flooring here. So you can come up with a beautiful pattern. You can have something that feels very country. You can have something that feels very modern, and in all types of looks, finishes, wear and tear. Like, it could look like a beautifully beat up wood floor, you know, with like the little nail marks and the holes and the aging, or it can be super sleek, and they are super easy to install. And they're waterproof, so you don't have to worry about water in the kitchen or in a bathroom. So it's something to think about. If you're seeing this really give you a lot of movement, it's not looking great, this is a good alternative rather than trying to chase what's happening with what you've got and fix it.
Sure. Let me ask you another question, because the problem that we're dealing with, there is a little bit of a hip where they added on the kitchen, but they never leveled out that floor.
Yeah, and again, you need that floor to be perfectly level. So if you're finding areas of unevenness, you can get a floor leveling compound. You can find it at the home center, and you kind of put it on the floor. It kind of trowels in, and it sort of levels itself out, and it gives you a good idea as to smoothing out that floor and making it level and making it even. And a lot of them are very, very intuitive and very easy to do. You just sort of feather it away to the lower parts or the higher parts that you're filling it in, and you'll trust me, when you start working on it, you'll be able to fill in these areas to level it out, and make sure you follow all of the instructions there and mix it the right way and let it cure the right way before you put the underlayment on and the flooring. And it really is great. So a floor leveling compound, and then let's look at a different sort of flooring, an EVP or an LVP, and you're going to be super happy. All right, Tim, hope that helps you out, because that's definitely a pain in the butt. Hey, you're tired of living in a money pit? Well, we're here to help. And if you want us to help out, it would be awesome if you could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Just go to moneypit.com/review. It's only going to take a minute, and it means the world to us.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Out in Iowa, Leslie, we've got Maya. Maya's dealing with some steps outside that have carpeting glued to them. That sounds like a terrible combination of things. What's going on, Maya?
My house has brick steps on the west side of my house, and it's covered in carpet, outdoor carpet that's been glued on. Now, there are some holes starting in that carpet, and I'm wondering what the best way is to remove it. Once I get it removed, what would be your advice on what I should do with that step?
That sounds like a slippery, mildewy mess. I mean, you really got yourself in a situation here because trying to remove that carpet that's been glued on is like difficult under the best of circumstances. Now put it outside on concrete. It's just going to be really difficult. So you may want to look at a chemical like adhesive remover. And that's probably going to be the best that you're going to do is because you need to soften up that adhesive and then you can kind of scrape it flat. It's definitely a pain in the butt in every way you look at it. But you just want to make sure that you're getting rid of as much of that adhesive as you can, flattening out the area, and then you can try to add pavers on top of this step. You just want to make sure that you're not altering the height, but there's a paver called a Milano paver by the Pavestone Company, and it's like a thin paver. It's sort of like a half the thickness of a regular paver. It might even be less than that. So you're not going to compromise the step height of the stair because as you're sort of piling things on, you could be alternating that rise and then making the tread different and feel awkward for stepping. But it's definitely a great thing to use. You could also look at a tile that's rated for outside, like ceramic tile, but you want one that's truly rated for outside because you want to make sure that that has the right slip resistance because it's going to be outside and you want to make sure that people are not slipping. But if you were to think about gluing back on top of that concrete surface, you could do the tile, you could do the paver. There's a lot of different things that you could choose. As long as it's level and you're not getting an uneven surface from all that buildup of glue, you should have no problem getting something else to stick and stick well. All right, Maya, good luck with that. Say bye-bye to outside carpet. Never a good thing. Well, considering that most homeowners only replace windows every 20 to 30 years, choosing the right windows among the dozens of choices available today is extremely important, but it is challenging. So luckily, there's a rating code developed by the NFRC, and that stands for the National Fenestration Rating Council, and it can help you quickly compare the energy performance of windows, doors, and skylights. Now, 2 of the NFRC's ratings are particularly important to know. It's the U factor and the solar heat gain coefficient. That's sometimes listed as the SHGC. And if you understand those ratings, you can make a smart decision when comparing energy efficient replacement windows, and that can help you save money on heating and air conditioning costs. So first up is the U factor. Now the U factor measures how well a window prevents heat from escaping a building, and it can be rated from 0.09 to 1.20. The lower the U factor, the better the product is at keeping heat from escaping. And then the solar heat gain coefficient tells us how effectively that window blocks the sun's solar radiation and heat, and it can be rated on a scale from 0 to 1. The lower the SHGC, the better the windows are at blocking the unwanted solar heat, meaning that, the heat comes in through the glass, through the sun. Now, there are 2 other ratings that are part of this NFRC rating. Visible transmittance, which measures how much light gets through the windows, and condensation resistance, resistance, which tells you how good a window is at keeping the moisture from forming on the inside or even between the panes of glass, and air leakage, which tells you how good the window is at keeping out those drafts. All of this info is contained right there on that NFRC label, which is on every single window out there. So make sure you refer to that sticker when you're shopping for windows, as it really is the most independent and accurate information you're going to find. I mean, maybe the window isn't the thing that Santa's going to bring you, so these are perfect tips to help you with your to-do list when you go shopping for yourself. You know, when you return the unwanted sweaters and whatnot, take your gift cards and go get yourself a window. It's what you need.
Now we're going to Louisiana, Les, and we're going to be talking to Greg. Something about a toilet issue. What's happening?
The shutoff valve handle broke off. Of course, the water's still flowing through it. I don't have a leak or anything like that, but I was trying to figure out the best way to fix it. You know, I know I've got to cut the water off to the house, but I didn't want to damage my pipe and stuff, you know.
All right, that's super frustrating. And it's, you know, something a lot of us have to deal with. I specifically went to change like all of the things, the fill valve, the flapper valve, all of it. And I went to turn off the water flow to the toilet, and I couldn't budge that dumb football-shaped valve. It probably hadn't been turned in forever and a day. For some reason, the handles are a little thinner. They like strip more easily. And it's not something that you're turning on and off regularly. So it's like they just get stuck and then they break. So, you know, when it really happens, that's just... you got to replace the valve. Now, with that said, I'm guessing you have copper pipes. You know, PEX fittings are designed to be used with copper pipes, and they have valve to pipe connections. They also have pipe to line connections. And if you follow the instructions, it's actually a pretty simple plumbing project to install one of those valves. It's no soldering involved. They sort of go into like the Y valve. So you have these two spigots, and you kind of, you know, when you're replacing them, like we did one in the kitchen. And so the valve came in through the wall. One went to the dishwasher, one went to the sink. It was kind of a tight spot. I didn't want to get in there with a torch. I didn't want to get in there, do all the things. So the PEX is great. It kind of goes into these tight places with very simple tools, and it's great in a tight spot. So if you want to try replacing this toilet valve with a PEX fitted one, they're inexpensive and you can pick them up at the home center. The only problem is you have to make sure that on the pipe itself that sticks out of the wall, that you have the correct amount of stub there. So you may have to go into your wall a little bit, but it's the easiest remedy for this currently.
Yeah, that was what I was concerned about, because the amount of space between the wall and where the valve, you know, made the 90-degree upwards, there's not a whole lot of space there. That's why I was concerned about maybe not having enough room to work with.
Is it a tile wall or is it drywall?
Drywall.
Okay, so in a worst case scenario, you may have to cut open that drywall a bit to sort of get the pipe right for this repair, but it's not a terrible job to fix. And here's a trick of the trade. When you're doing a patch like that, don't just cut out the tiny little area around it. Try to go from stud to stud so that you're making your cut right down the middle of the stud. And when you're making the repair, yes, it's a larger piece, but it's properly supported. It's easier to go in. You can probably work a little bit better in that wider space than trying to just stay in such a small spot. And you want to resecure this new piece of drywall with drywall screws right back into the studs, and then tape and spackle it and touch up the paint. And that should do the trick. A lot of folks have this issue. I mean, it's happened to all of us.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have been a great blessing today, and thank you for sharing that information with me.
You got it. Good luck.
Kraft mac and cheese is the best thing ever. It's even better than pop music. You look just as natural enjoying us at age 13 as you do 55. Kraft mac and cheese. Best thing ever.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
I found this great place to stay this weekend.
Click on the link and book it.
Oh, wow. McAfee alerted me that this site is fake and even blocked it.
Cyber criminals create fake sites to steal your passwords and financial data. McAfee identifies and blocks these sites to keep you safer online, so you can book your trip without worry. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Before you roll out the welcome mat for your guests this holiday season, now is the perfect time for a quick festive refresh without taking on a full redesign. Focus on your home's entryway. Again, you want to kind of work in the spaces that the guests will see, and this is definitely a spot that they're going to go into first. So just tidy it up, cozy it up, cute throw rugs, maybe a lantern, maybe some battery-operated candles, anything that makes it feel inviting. Then let's look at lighting. You want it to feel warm. You want it to feel soft. You want it to feel cozy. You can get a few accent lights, string lights, highlight your mantle. It's a soft glow that kind of makes everything feel more welcoming. And of course, make it a full experience with fragrance. Everybody loves the smell of Christmas. So if you've got a fake tree, get a pine diffuser. If you want it to smell like you've made some glug, that warm spiced wine on the stovetop, citrus and clove and spices will do that in a long way. And declutter. Don't just decorate on top of your clutter. Clear the surfaces so that holiday decor can shine instead of compete. And when your space feels fresh, uncluttered, and warm, you are creating that calm, festive vibe that your guests will love. So when are we invited over to the party?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, come on. I like a pig in a blanket just as good as the next guy. So we're coming over. What time? All right. Give us a call. I know that's what they're on the line to tell us about right now, Jim, right?
Well, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? We've got Byron now who's got a problem with some popcorn. And I don't think it's the kind you eat at a movie. What's going on, Byron?
That's correct. It's easy to take off, but what do you do afterwards? That was a cost-saving cut for drywall workers at the time.
Yeah, it's funny because builders would use that popcorn ceiling because it meant that the drywall company and the spacklers didn't have to do that great of a job. It kind of hid all of the sins, those uneven joints, all the things that you didn't want to look at. So first of all, it's pretty great that you were able to get it all off and that it was a fairly straightforward project. And by the way, there is a great article on themoneypit.com about people who are dealing with popcorn ceilings because they're not great. They don't look great. They're challenging to paint. And if you're looking to get rid of it, it's probably the messiest part is getting it off of the ceiling. Or if you do some repair work, like change a light fixture or have a leak and you try to fix it, when you try to respackle and fix that spot and add the popcorn back or get rid of the popcorn, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So now that you have that gone, good for you. You want to try to get the ceiling in a fairly flat state. So make sure that everything has been sanded and is cleaned and is pretty flat. And then you do want to use a primer. And it's super important to prime first, especially for a ceiling. And then when you do put a ceiling paint on, make sure it's a ceiling paint, one that does not have any sheen in it. It's got to be 100% flat. And you do want to make sure that you go with a good quality ceiling paint because it's going to stick as well. And if you have any sort of sheen in that paint, any unevenness from removing that popcorn is going to be super highlighted, even with just a very low sheen. But good for you. What a project and what a mess. And the worst is when you're getting the popcorn ceiling off and it kind of falls into your hair and then rehardens. It's a nightmare, but good for you. All right, Byron, congrats on that project. Well, if you're thinking about getting your home ready for the holidays and perhaps you're thinking about giving the kitchen a quick and dramatic upgrade, we have got a fantastic DIY solution to share. It's the LuxRock Ultra Solid Surface Granite Kit from Dyche Coatings. It's an easy, affordable way that you can add a stunning granite finish to your countertops, your tables, even your vanities. And the best part, you can get it done in just one weekend. Now, there's a new enhanced version of their award-winning LuxRock product, and it features a smooth as glass roll-on application. The kit includes everything you need: prime coat, stone coats, the stone set epoxy, a clear coat finish, plus all of the tools to cover up to 40 square feet of surface. And it's a kit that's around $229 or even $150 if you want a smaller kit to just cover 20 square feet. And what's really great is the variety of colors, including classics like Galaxy Black, Crystal Quartz, or Carrara Marble. I mean, it's definitely going to find a shade there that will fit every style. And the finished product, it's food safe, it's stain resistant, it's heat resistant, and it's incredibly durable. Plus, it looks awesome. There's no need to remove sinks or plumbing fixtures. It works on laminates, concrete, plywood, MDF, which makes it a low-hassle project that's perfect for the holidays. It even has low odor and low VOCs, so it's safe to use indoors. We used LuxRock on our countertops about 3 years ago, and they still look fantastic. So if you want to add some sparkle and shine this holiday season, check out LuxRock Ultra Solid Surface Granite Kit. You can order it online at Lowe's, the Home Depot, or Daesh Coatings website with free shipping. It's really a one-weekend transformation that's sure to impress your guests, and it lasts for years. Check them out at DaeshCoatings.com. But first, let's get back to you. Jim, who's up?
All right, Leslie, we have a twofer. Martha is in Ohio on the line with a leaky door and a leaky window. All right.
Oh, lucky her.
If you're going to do it right. All right, what's going on, Martha?
We had some sliding glass doors in our family room that's paneled, and we had them taken out, and we wanted just a picture window in there. So when they came to do the picture window, they took the door out, the sliding doors out, and, the foundation was like, maybe a block or two up, and the, door had been left empty down lower. So what they did was they took 2x4s, I think it was, wood, and built up to the block level and then proceeded to put in the supports for the window. So now, I made a flower bed out there, and now when the ground gets real saturated and water tends to puddle there, collect, it runs under the wood, through the wood.
Well, it sounds like instead of building the foundation up with concrete block, which is what they should have done, they kind of filled it in with wood framing. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the best choice.
Or do we need to start over?
Yeah, I would just start over because, it's kind of hard to advise that you seal something that wasn't done right to begin with. It really should have been concrete block. But having said that, if you're going to just trap that much water against the foundation, whether it's a wood patch or a concrete block, it's still going to leak. You just can't hold that kind of water against your foundation. And we tell you all the time here at the Money Pit that you should not have too much moisture building up against the foundation because it's just going to find its way into the house anyway, especially in an area where you live like Ohio. You're going to get a significant freeze-thaw cycle. And because of that water saturates the soil freezes, it's going to push inward on that wall and then weaken that basement wall. So what we recommend here is that if you're going to have a planter, you have to make sure that there's some drainage in there so that that water doesn't puddle up. Because if you do trap it against the wall, regardless of how you've built that wall, even if it wasn't repaired or built correctly, it's going to leak. It's going to cause damage. So I think the issue really is what you did after the fact more than what they did when they installed the picture window, okay?
Oh, okay.
Good luck with your project, and thank you so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT. Happy holidays, everybody. Reach out now with your questions to moneypit.com/ask or listen and learn from the solutions we deliver to your fellow DIYers in every episode of the Money Pit podcast. You can subscribe for free at moneypit.com/podcast.
Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving takes the work out of being behind the wheel, allowing you to relax and reconnect, while also staying in control. Enjoy the drive in Blue Cruise-enabled vehicles like the F-150, Explorer, and Mustang Mach-E. Available feature on equipped vehicles. Terms apply. Does not replace safe driving. See Ford.com/Blue Cruise for more details.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS. Well, it's almost Christmas, and if you're in the middle of holiday decorating, we've got some tips to stay safe and save you money on your decor. Now, before you deck the halls and trim the tree, test all of those holiday lights indoors and out. Make sure all of your lights are marked with a UL Underwriters Laboratory seal of approval and are marked for outdoor usage if that's where you want to display them. Also, make sure each strand is clear of damaged and frayed wires, and when in doubt, throw them out. Now, if your strands aren't lighting, check each bulb to see if it's loose and replace each one individually. Jim, have you seen there's like this red, it looks like a reticketing gun some coworkers showed me this. You put it into the bulb socket and it tells you if that socket is bad. And then there's like a weird trigger that you pull and it magically makes the light work again. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You can take every bulb out and put it into the little tester.
Wow. No, not familiar with it.
I swear the stagehands at GMA all say it works. I've never seen it. I've never tried it. There's one in my Amazon cart right now.
Cool.
I will let you know next week because I have to do some work on the lights outside. So I'll let you know. So that's an excellent trick of the trade there to kind of try it out. And it's a lot less expensive if you can just repair a few bulbs than replacing them. And same with LED. LED lights, they are super affordable and they last forever. So if you have a strand that's really giving you a hard time, you can just replace it with LED, and you can look at different temperatures as well. They don't all have to feel so cool and blue. Now, if you do make the switch from incandescent to LED, you can pay $20 a month, or with those LED bulbs, you can kind of pay like 30 cents a month. It's really an amazing savings, and you can truly make those lights look wonderful. So take your pick, decide what you like better. It's just time for merriment. Make the house sparkle and bright, and we are here for you this holiday season. So give us a call, and Jim, let's chat with some folks. Who's up next?
It's time for merriment. Do I know Mary?
Yes, her last name is Mint.
Well, we don't have Mary, but we do have Beverly. Beverly, you've got Leslie on the Money Pit. How can we help out?
Well, I have a house. It's just been built a year and a half ago, but I have a covered patio, and my builder put cedar posts up there. The rest of my trim is all white. So I wanted to cover or paint the cedar, but he's telling me I can't do it because I'll rot them out. And that doesn't sound right to me, but I'm not sure.
All right. So, Beverly, in your ideal sort of design look for the exterior of your home, do you want to see what those cedar posts? Do you want them to be white and match the rest of the house?
Yeah, all of my trim is white, and so I would rather them be white. They're a year and a half old now, so they're starting to turn the cedar look and get all dark.
I mean, are they kind of decorative?
No.
Now, all right. So here's what I would do. The first thing I'm going to recommend is a staining process. You're going to do a primer first. An oil-based or a solvent-based primer is going to adhere the best to these posts. And then you're going to stain them. And I would suggest using a solid color stain because it doesn't go on like paint. It's still absorbed into the wood. The color kind of gets absorbed in. You still see a little bit of the grain, and it is a very saturated look for the color, and you can get it in white. It's not going to be like super solid like paint, but it is going to have a white appearance. And the stain is great because it will protect the wood. It looks attractive.
But he said if I covered it or painted them, that it causes the moisture to hold to the base, and then they rot.
I would disagree with what this builder is telling you because stain or paint does not cause it to hold moisture. It doesn't cause it to rot. It actually does the opposite. It helps protect it. So definitely if you want to change the color there, that's the way I would do it, a solid stain.
Good. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I can't wait to hear how this project turns out for you, Beverly. Time now for our emails. Jim, I'm going to ask you again this week. Can you please do it in a Santa voice?
Well, Greg rode into the Money Pit, and he says...
All right, don't do that. Do
right.
not do that. Just normal Jim answering emails from our lovely, lovely listeners.
Gotcha. All right, Greg wrote into the Money Pit, and he says, my wife and I are in the process of buying a home. All right, congrats, Greg. We've decided to have an inspection and a radon test done, okay? The inspection came out fine, but the radon test came in at 18. And that's more than 4 times the safe level. What should I do?
All right. Well, I mean, 4 picocuries per liter of air is kind of the guideline for action. So if you're at 18, that's pretty high, but there really is no need to panic. Now, radon gas is a soil gas, and so to remove it, you have to put in a radon mitigation system, which is sort of like a ventilation system. And the way it works is, let's say you have a basement. Typically, what a radon mitigating company would do is they come in, they seal the gap around the slab, then they basically drill a fairly sizable hole into your concrete floor, which is usually about like a 5-inch wide hole for a pipe, and they insert this radon vent pipe into that hole, and then they hook up a fan to it. And it's basically turned on, running 24/7. It pulls the gas out from underneath the slab and then vents it to the outside. And you'll be very surprised because by simply doing that, you can actually take those radon gases and those levels practically down to zero. So it is very common in certain parts of the country to do this. It doesn't mean you have a bad house or that the house has been in any way contaminated. It's just something that Mother Nature has in the soil, and in some parts of the U.S., more of it than in other parts. It's very simple to get rid of it, so I wouldn't freak out, but I would definitely go and get the radon mitigation company. You can even go on Angie's List to find some that are very well recommended in your area. You can get pricing, but definitely do that. Do your research, find out if somebody else in the area, because chances are if you have it, I mean, sometimes it's weird and the house next door to you doesn't. So, you never know. Post on your local moms and dads or your town's page on Facebook. See if anybody else has had to deal with this. And you'll find somebody who you can trust. Do your research, but definitely get it mitigated. You will be thankful you did. All right, who's next?
Next up is Maureen from New Jersey. She wrote in saying, my double set of stairs with landing in between and a hallway upstairs has odd-shaped nooks and corners. I don't want to be short or pay extra for what I need for this carpet. What's the best way to measure for the carpet for this type of oddball space?
Well, generally speaking, you count 1 square yard of carpet for every step that you have. So that's one way you can start, and then you can kind of measure the distances of those, the lengths, the width of the landings, and then kind of add that in. But it is, I think, kind of fairly complicated with all of the steps and all of the landings. So personally, I just have a carpet person come and gives me an estimate for that. Or you can run some carpeting up a set of stairs with 2 landings. You could kind of look at some pictures. But I really think it's best to just bring in a pro because there are so many varieties of how you install the carpeting. Are you covering the entire tread? Are you just doing the tread? Are you doing the rise in the tread? There's different ways you can do it, and a pro will come in and give you the ideas, but also tell you this is exactly what you need. So there isn't a lot of waste, and they're going to help install it right. So I would just go with a pro and get a realistic quote so you know what you're getting into. Thanks so much for joining us this hour here on the Money Pit. I know you guys have a very, very busy time of year at home with all the holidays and your families and friends in town. So we've helped you try to get the house looking right. We've got you ready to shop for some new windows next year and do it right and make them energy efficient and cost effective. We are always here to lend a hand. Remember, guys, you can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone.
On the Money Pit Radio Show. On the Money Pit Radio Show. Pick up the telephone. Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT. Woo!
So you want to start a business. You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't. You just need GoDaddy Aero. I'm Walton Goggins, and as an actor, I'm an expert in looking like I know what I'm doing. GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create everything you need to grow a business. It'll make you a unique logo. It'll create a custom website. It'll write social posts for you and even set you up with a social media calendar. Get started at GoDaddy.com/Aero. That's GoDaddy.com/AIRO.